Now, the sport of scuba diving has some risks and potential hazards, so we take it seriously. Well, some of us take it seriously. It is important for you to know that we're now moving into technical diving. There's a lot more risks when it comes to technical diving. There's also risks when it comes to scuba diving. So putting a regulator in your mouth and descending below the surface means you're accepting risks, right? That's one of the hazards. They can injure or kill you, right, when you put one of these things in your mouth. So we have to take it seriously. So as your skills and experience progress, when it comes to rebreather diving, you're accepting greater risks. So it's important to understand that.
So I was doing some oxygen therapy.
Right.
And I was monitoring my PO2 the whole time I was doing it. And I couldn't see you, which was kind of nice.
In the Dive Talk Go course, okay,
All right, back to
you will be
Accept the
exposed. You will be exposed to various diving environments, depending on where you're doing this training, as part of the curriculum, and the risks are relevant and they can be managed. So your instructor will help you, depending on where you're diving, to understand the risks and manage them.
Yeah, and when I've taught this section before, I've always said this course is really about emergency skills. The basic use of the rebreather when it's functioning, and when you actually go on a dive and you don't do any emergency skills, it's really very simple. You're breathing in and out of a paper bag. It's taking out the carbon dioxide. It's replacing the oxygen that you metabolize. And you're always monitoring your PO2 and keeping it at your set point that you planned your dive at to make sure you have enough bailout gas to get to the surface. In a nutshell, that's managing the risks. But there are things that can happen, and we're going to go through those emergency skills. And you have to know how to get out of those emergencies where it's second nature and you're not memorizing anything, it's just logical. Remember this. You can always bail off the rebreather, close the loop, take it out of your mouth, put a regulator in your mouth, change your dive computer back to open circuit, and you're right back to open circuit diving. Remember that. You always have the option to bail out and then go to the surface.
One of the questions that we get the most often is, who is ready for a rebreather dive? Like, what level should I be at before I can start the training in a rebreather? And the answer is always, even though we have minimum requirements because they're set by RISA and other organizations, your instructor will always have the final word on this. But I always tell people the easiest way to think about it is that in order for you to learn something new, like rebreather diving, you should work in autopilot on your emergency backup system. So as Woody mentioned, when you bail out and go to open circuit, that should be easy for you. It should be autopilot. Oh, I'm back on what I know and love. Let me just go to the surface and I'm done, right? So if you struggle with open water diving, if you still don't have it under control, you still get flustered, and all of that, then perhaps getting into a rebreather may not be the best time. But if you're comfortable in the water in open circuit, you're ready to go. You don't have to be an instructor, master, super ninja, right, on open circuit to get rebreather training. Having said that, the funniest thing happens is when you are an instructor, super ninja guy, and want to do rebreather training, is very humbling. It's not a physical challenge. It's a mental challenge. And the main reason for that is that you come into a course knowing that you're good at diving. You're a good diver. Like, I'm a good diver. I'm going to nail this. I know that people struggle with rebreather diving. I'm going to show them what learning how to rebreather is. The challenge is that no one can become fully, truly competent rebreather diver in only a few hours. If you think you're going to jump in a pool with a rebreather and in the open water and just be a master the way you are with open circuit, you can forget that right now. It's not going to happen.
And I love that you said that, because I want you to, how do I put it? Understand that your instructor is not being egotistical when they are being, if you will, corrective of you. They have been through all of this training. They already understand the risks associated with a rebreather, and they really do know where you're at as you're doing this rebreather class. Take it in, take it as constructive, and I promise you, by the time you're done, you and your instructor are going to be bonding and you're going to want to dive together.
Right.
Go through that process. They're really good at this stuff. They really understand what's going on with the whole technical diving and rebreathers and the risks and the emergency skills. And they have one goal: to make sure that you are a safe and competent rebreather diver by the time you earned that card. They're not going to give you a card because you just went through a checklist. They want to make sure you're going to be safe, and then you're going to enjoy for the rest of your diving life. Gus said, well, doing what you already love doing, which is bailing out and go to open circuit. I want you to do what you're really going to learn to love, which is I don't ever want to touch the open circuit bailout regulator again. I only want to be on the rebreather. And the only way to do that is to master these things where it's second nature. And your instructor's like, now I feel like you're going to be safe and competent.
Exactly. Your instructor is there to help you transition into this new environment, into this new equipment, right? It's what we do best. Instructors and Dive Talk Academy, just follow the process, stick with it. It will be mentally challenging because comfort in the water takes time, takes practice, right? If I were to ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you grade yourself as an open circuit diver? Maybe you'll say 10. I'm a 10. There's nothing. I cannot get any better than this. You will not be a 10, whatever level you said. You will not be at that level when you finish your rebreather class. It will take time and practice to build that. And I think what's going to happen is when you finish your class, whatever number you said, you will be like, that was so stupid. I thought I was a 10. Like there's so much that I learned that I realized that I was like a 3.
It is.
There's so much to learn.
It's going to blow your mind how much you're going to learn. And these instructors are just masterful. They do this pretty much every day. I haven't seen in my life many 10s out there. I'm definitely not one. But there are a few I look at. I'm like, I look at Ed. I look at Mike. I look at Brian K-Cook. I look at Doug Ebers. I look at these people in the water, and I'm like, I have a long way to go.
Exactly.
And you never get there. Now, I happen to love that. It's okay. I love that. I'm always getting better. I'm always practicing. So welcome to that world of technical rebreather diving. And trim and buoyancy really matter now. Planning that dive really matter now.
Yeah.
You are going to be introduced to a world of the best, whatever the best divers are in the world. I risk saying they're probably rebreather divers.
Yeah.
They probably are rebreather divers. So, yeah.
Having said that, depending on your level of expertise and where you're coming from, there are 3 certifications levels for the Dive Talk Go. The first level is what we call a rebreather diver, right? You are learning the unit, you're learning how to dive a rebreather, you're gaining all this experience under your belt, and that will allow you to dive down to 100 feet and staying with no decompression limits. Like you can do a longer dive, you can be, at let's say 60, 80 feet for a couple hours, like staying within NDL and then go up to the surface and getting all that experience. After that, the next level will be what we call our decompression diver, which is 130. So same limits as open water, open circuit, deep divers. So 130 feet, 40 meters, and you can have decompression. As long as you plan your dives, you plan your deco, your bailout gas with your instructor, you gain all those skills, then you will be able to do pretty long dives, right? 2 to 2.5 hour dives down to 130, no problem. Now the unit is rated to 200 feet. So there is that next level, which is our Normoxic CCR diver level, where you can take this unit to 200 feet. So that will be the next level. Again, every one of these levels, you need to be kind of in autopilot, right? Once you've dove this unit a bunch of times up to 100 feet and you feel like, I feel at home. I don't want to dive, like you said. Don't touch this regulator ever again. You're ready to do those decompression dives. Once you've done a bunch of those decompression dives and you're like, I feel super comfortable doing these long deco stops, like I'm totally fine, then let's up it up and go into trimix and let's go deeper, right? So every level is kind of like climbing that wall. It's like martial arts. You get that next belt. And I don't know if you noticed, this is a fun Easter egg. every card is like the color of a belt in martial arts. The first card is like blue belt, and then purple belt, and then brown belt. So you can like work your way up. We made it that way for a reason. It is a progress. So and it's important to know that your skills will increase along the way and with more training and practice.
And I just want to add, don't go beyond your training.
Of course.
Right? If you only train with us to go to 100 feet, and it tells you that the gas that you have to use has to be able to dill flush your unit, which we'll talk about, down to a 1.1 PO2 discipline. That's what you need to do, is your training for your level that you're at.
And we will talk about the rules of safe CCR diving in a second here. But just want to finish with this. Training is purchased, but the certification is earned. And Woody mentioned this word. He emphasized this word earlier today. And the reason why we want to mention that is because we know that when it comes to open circuit diving, like I felt like when I bought a class, let's say like a night and limited visibility or navigation class, I mean, for me to fail that class, you have to be really bad. Like those classes are designed that you pay for the class, you're going to get the card. Technical diving is not like that. Regardless of instructor, regardless of the class that you're doing, you have to earn the certification. And perhaps you earn that first like blue belt level where you can dive to 100 feet. But we know there's people out there that want to go as fast as like, I want to be normoxic by tomorrow, right? There's a chance that you can get certified at one level and your instructor may feel that you haven't earned that next level.
And
right?
what I think earning means overall, if I'm evaluating somebody, is that you can do the skills while maintaining good trim and buoyancy control without panicking in a systematic, calm manner. It's not how fast you do them.
Right.
I don't judge on speed. I don't care. Just go slow. But you're not panicking. You're basically maintaining the same trim and buoyancy, and you just understood the exact procedures, the logic of handling that emergency so that you can get safely to the surface. If you can do that on each and every skill, you've earned it. And you will be able to do that by putting in the work and the practice.
Yeah. By the same token, any student demonstrating unsafe diving practices or unsafe attitudes like YOLO, let's just go diving and we'll figure it out, will never, ever earn the certification from Dive Talk Academy.
It's automatic safety. If you violate the safety rules, we can't. Nobody else, you can jeopardize everybody else's life as well and your own. So that's an easy one. There's not much to talk about. These safety rules, you have to follow 100% of the time, or everybody in the tech community is going to not want you to be diving technical diving. We care about your safety.
Speaking of rules, let's talk about those next.